Hello, Packers fans, wherever you may be. It's time for another edition of the Pack Attack Cast. This is our pre-game show. We're recording it a little bit early because I'll be traveling on Sunday. Normally, I post this on Sunday morning, but I did wait long enough to get some critical information from the Green Bay Packers. So, fresh off the wire, the Green Bay Packers have activated wide receiver Jayden Reed off injured reserve. And they also claimed defensive lineman Quinton Bohanna off waivers from the Seattle Seahawks and released Malik Heath. General Manager Brian Gutekunst announced the transaction on Wednesday. Transaction on Wednesday. No, that's not true. That should be on Saturday because this is fresh off the wire. So that must be a typo on the Packers website. Bohanna, 6'4", 327, is a fourth-year player originally selected by the Dallas Cowboys in the 6th round. And he's played in 34 career games with 13 starts for the Cowboys, Detroit Lions, Tennessee Titans, and Seattle Seahawks. He will wear number 76 for the Packers. So, big news here. We got Jayden Reed onto the active roster. Now, I believe they still had another week before they had to put Jayden Reed on the active roster. So this tells me that he will be playing in the game against the Bears on Sunday. I don't see any reason why they would activate him today versus next week unless they were planning on playing him this week. It also tells me that either Jayden Reed or Matthew Golden will be available in this game because they released Malik Heath. Now, Malik Heath will probably be added back to the practice squad if he clears waivers. So we're going to have to watch that very closely. I expect him to clear waivers and to be back onto the practice squad. Again, if they weren't going to play Jayden Reed in this game, I don't believe that they would have released Malik Heath this week. They would have waited until next week to activate Jayden Reed because they still had another 7 days. So big news here. Now, Bohanna is not likely to play in the game since he was just claimed on Saturday. So look for him to get into practice next week for the Packers. So really good news that they're adding some additional depth to the defensive line. That's 2 players they've added to the active roster this week for the defensive line to get some depth. And Jayden Reed is most likely going to play this week. Now, with that, let's go to the matchup this week. We already talked about keys to the game in yesterday's video, so if you want to, and I'll probably go over them again while we look at the matchups, but I just want to point out that keys to the game were in yesterday's video, but we're still going to take a look at the matchups, and I'll try to focus in on some of the keys to the game when you look at the matchups here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the matchups for the game. Here we go. The Bears, 7-3, 8-4 against the spread. Against the Packers, 8-3-1, 5-7 against the spread. We're expecting it to be 11 degrees at kickoff. Now, this is an afternoon kickoff, so it's probably going to get, I would suspect, close to 0 degrees by the end of this game, since it's going to trail into the late evening in Green Bay. It'll be 1:25. It'll be 2:25 Pacific time for the game. Our local time. It'll be 1:25 Pacific for the game, and it's going to be, that would be 3:25 Eastern time, 4:25 Eastern time. So let's take a look at this matchup here. We've got the Green Bay Packers overall power ranking. Now, this is where I think this is going to be a better game for the Packers than a lot of people expect. Look at this power ranking per PFF. Packers are actually second right now in the power rankings, and the Bears are 14th. Power ranking on defense, the Packers are 9th, and the Bears are 15th, but most of that ranking for the Bears is actually tied to their turnovers that they create. Keep in mind the Packers are one of the best in the league at avoiding turnovers, and the Bears are first at causing turnovers. So, in my mind, the Packers, if they avoid significant turnovers, are in a good position to win this game. The Bears are 8-0 when they cause 2 or more turnovers. They are 1-3 when they don't cause 2 turnovers. So the Packers can actually allow 1 turnover and still be pretty good in this game, especially if they get one of their own from Caleb Williams. Power ranking on offense, Packers are 3rd, Bears are 9th, and that's mostly due to their efficiency in the run game. In passing, they're very poor compared to the rest of the league. Strength of schedule, Packers are 16th, the Bears are 22nd. Run plays, the Packers run the ball 43% of the time, the Bears 41% of the time. Now, if you look at last week, they probably ran the ball 65% of the time. So the Packers really need to get the Bears out of running the ball, getting them into 3rd and long, so they're forced to throw the ball on 3rd down. That's going to be a really big key to the game. Let's take a look at the quarterback comparisons. Not really close here. Jordan Love is 87.3. Calvin Williams is 72.7. Clearly in the Packers' favor. So if the Packers make it a quarterback matchup where Caleb Williams has to find a way to win the game and Jordan Love has to find a way to win the game, I think that's significantly in the Packers' favor for this game. Big time throw percentages, Jordan Love is 5.313%. Caleb Williams is 5.57. Remember, the Bears are going to be missing Romeo Odunze in this game, which is going to really impact their ability to make big plays in the passing game. Turnover-worthy plays, pretty equal here. Power rankings, 4.5 for Jordan Love, only 2.5 for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is basically rated as the 20th passer, and Jordan Love is ascending, but he's currently 9th and 3rd in the MVP odds right now, which is pretty significant. All right, let's take a look at key injuries here. For the Bears, we know Edmonds is coming back, so he will be playing in this game. Odunze is out with a leg injury. And Stevenson is out with a leg injury as well. For the Packers, Jayden Reed is questionable, but now with his activation today, I'm pretty certain he's going to play in this game. Bullard is truly questionable. And Matthew Golden is questionable, but I think he will probably play in this game. So that's your key injuries to watch. Let's take a look at lineups here. Let's take a look at the Packers on offense first. 2 tight end personnel. And the Bears base personnel. Okay, their strong safety is not that significant, Brisker, but Byard is playing very well at free safety. He gets a lot of interceptions. That's a key reason why his rating is so high here. But you can definitely throw underneath and hopefully get some yard after the catch, because the Bears love to play 2 safeties deep and man defense. So there's going to be opportunities in the middle and in short yardage, as the free safety and the strong safety tend to be hold back deep for the Bears. One way you can combat that for the Packers is to run the football when they have two high safeties and force them to bring a safety into the box. Let's take a look at their linebacker core. Edwards is solid. Jackson is solid. And Sewell, the middle linebacker, is not playing very well. He's rated 79th out of 84. So definitely attacking the middle of the field is going to be important here. Looking at cornerbacks, we've got Johnson and Wright, and they're not great in coverage, but they are good at forcing turnovers. So if Jordan Love can make plays on the outside and the receivers get two hands on the ball, I think the Packers could be pretty effective on offense. The Bears are in the low 20s as far as pass defense overall when you take out turnovers. Sweat has had a solid season of attacking the quarterback, and that's really their biggest threat on the defensive line for Jordan Love. The Bears are one of the worst teams as far as getting to the quarterback time-wise, and also their success rate is very low without a blitz. So the offensive line for the Packers really needs to have a strong showing this week. Zach Tom, Walker, Banks, Ryan, and Belton all need to work really hard to protect Jordan Love. If Jordan Love has a good pocket in this game, I think the Packers are going to come out with a win. We have Romeo Doubs and Watson against these corners. Again, if they can avoid turnovers, I think Doubs and Watson should be able to get open early and often in man coverage. So we're going to watch that very closely. Josh Jacobs is going to be a real key to this game. Look for them to run the ball early and often to force them out of man coverage and hopefully allow some big plays. Let's take a look at three wide receiver here. Okay, they've got PFF has updated this to include Jayden Reed right here. That tells me PFF also believes that Jayden Reed is going to play in this game. So at three wide receivers, the Packers are really going to be in a good position with Doubs, Reed, and Watson. Reed is going to be a real beneficiary of open space in the middle of the field, and hopefully he can get some yards after the catch. So I really think three wide receiver sets with the addition of Jayden Reed are going to be very effective against the Bears defense. Let's take a look at the Packers on defense here. Base personnel, Bears, two tight ends. You're going to see a lot of two tight ends because with Odunze out, it really favors the Bears to use a lot of two tight end. It allows them to run the ball from a strong offensive line with two tight ends, and it also tries to offset the fact that Odunze is not going to play. McKinney and Williams are playing really well. Williams is having his breakout season, in my opinion. He was great last year, but he has really become a superstar, and these are two of the best safeties in the NFL for the Packers. Looking at the linebackers, we've got McDuffie and Cooper, and this needs to be updated because Quay Walker is actually going to be in the middle, and McDuffie is going to be in the Sam. And we're going to have Cooper in the middle. So it's going to be a pretty great three linebackers. They're going to have their day cut out for them because McDuffie, Cooper, and Quay Walker are going to have to be crashing the offense, the line of scrimmage, and stopping big plays in the running game. The Bears are really good at long plays in the running game. So McDuffie, Cooper, and Quay Walker are really going to have to work on minimizing big plays in the running game and trying to force the Bears to throw the ball. Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary are really going to have to attack the quarterback, but it's going to be Brinson, Wooden, and Brooks in the center of the defensive line that are really going to have to do everything they can to try to stop the running game for the Bears. On the outside, we have Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon, and they should be able to hold up pretty well against Moore and Burden. Both of those wide receivers should have a tough time getting open against Valentine and Nixon, who have played against much better receivers so far this season and played very well. So Burden is a rookie. He's still getting his feet under him. And Moore is a savvy veteran, but I don't know if they can get big plays out of either one of these receivers against this really good secondary for the Packers. For their offensive line, they have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. But Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary are going to have to find a way to get after Caleb Williams on third down and help stop the run on first and second. They're going to have to really focus on stopping the run first and then going after the quarterback in this game. Okay, let's take a look at the Bears in 3 wide receiver and the Packers in nickel. Okay, so what do we have here? Is they're going to bring Zacharias in the slot without Adunze. That's really going to not be favorable to them. Nixon should be able to shut down Burden more often than not. Valentine should be able to shut down more often than not. And in the slot, they really don't have a weapon, so they'll probably look to Loveland as at the tight end position. So that is going to be something we're going to have to watch very closely. So those are your matchups for the game. We've already gone over keys to the game, but let's go over them quickly. Packers, number 1, have to avoid turnovers. If the Packers avoid turnovers, the Bears will have a hard time winning this game. That is where they feast. The Packers are going to have to make plays in the running game and the passing game, and focus on trying to run the clock by running the ball and forcing the Bears to get into passing situations. If the Packers could get a lead in this game of at least two scores, so 10 points or more, then I think it's really going to force the Bears out of their comfort zone of running the football. So that's going to be another key to the game. Stopping the Bears' run offense is going to be a challenge, but what you want to do is try to get them in third and long on these drives. You can let them get a couple first downs, but then at some point you're going to have to get a third and long and force the Bears to throw the ball. My predictions for this game would be Packers 27, Bears 23. I really like the number 27 for the Packers. It's been a trend throughout the course of the season. And I think they can limit the Bears to 20 or 23 points and come out with a victory in this game if they avoid turnovers. So that's my prediction, 27-23 Packers. And hopefully the Packers will win this game and get back to first place in the NFC North. As far as a reaction for this game, I'll probably get back to you Monday afternoon or evening, since I am traveling Monday morning, and I will be at a wedding after this game. So unfortunately, I won't be able to get back to you until Monday. So as always, go Pack Go, and hopefully we'll have a victory Monday on Monday. We'll see you then.